and welcome to openmicuk.co.uk Artist Development Tutorials. My name's Chantal Elizabeth, and today we're going to be looking at what voice type am I? We're going to look at how to know your vocal range, how to test and find out about your vocal range, and ultimately to determine what your vocal type is. So if you're new to singing or you've been singing a while, you'll know that different singers have a different quality to their voice, and some people sing really high very comfortably, some people sing really low very comfortably. This is your vocal range, your type, they're all linked in together, and that's what we're going to be looking at today, and you're going to be able to determine what yours is. You can test and find out about your vocal range using some online technology or the old-fashioned way, using an instrument. And basically you're just going to find out how low you can sing and how high. In this video as well, we're going to be looking at the terminology behind all the different types of voices. So you're going to learn some new cool words too. So how to determine your voice type. As a singer, you should really start to understand where your voice sits in the range of voices available. This will allow you to apply for jobs. It will allow you to sit well in a group if you're going to sing in a choir or a harmonies group. It will also allow you to figure out what songs suit your voice best. Your vocal type doesn't refer to the type of singing you do or the quality of your voice, but just the range you sing most comfortably in, also known as your tessitura. So to determine what your voice type is, you need to discover what your vocal range is. Now the vocal range is something that you can develop over time, but we're talking about where you most comfortably sing. So what is the vocal range and how can I test and find out about it? A vocal coach would immediately be able to tell you where you sit in the voice types just from hearing you sing a short verse. If you're starting to want to take yourself seriously as a singer, getting a vocal coach is the first step. Part of the purpose of practicing singing and doing singing exercises is to expand your vocal range. Extending your vocal range will give you more qualities to your voice, and just by doing singing exercise, you'll be able to investigate what your voice is capable of. You can figure out your vocal range just by singing some scales. Now, if you're going to try and sing your lowest and your highest notes, you never want to do that without warming up a little bit first. If you have an instrument like a keyboard or piano yourself, then that's going to be a great starting point for you to start pushing and finding out what your vocal range is. There are some online methods you can use that record your voice and give you a more vague idea of what your range is, but the best results would be from literally sitting with a keyboard. There's a vocal range quiz that you can do that you can access online at our advice page that's related to this article on openmicuk.co.uk/advice/test find out your vocal range. It can't determine your exact vocal range just through the questions, but it's a bit of fun anyway. You might want to try it. On this page as well, we've got a link to an app that you can use to test your vocal range. It will also help you pitch your voice, which is a useful tool. So how do you determine your vocal range with a scale? A musical scale is a bunch of notes that basically sound really nice together. You may have heard of the major scale and the minor scale. You also have lots of different types of scales, and as a musician, a budding musician, you should be finding out about these things if you don't know anything about them. Understanding music and music theory, even if you don't play an instrument, is going to be key for you standing out from the crowd. So if you just don't know at all where your voice sits, then using only the white notes on a piano, you can just run up and down and find a note that you can sing comfortably. If I was to start at the bottom of the piano, it would take me ages to find a note that I'm comfortable with. The best place to start for most people is the middle of the piano, a note called middle C, and then work up and down from that note until you find the edges of your range. Middle C is known as C3, and when determining your voice type, this will be useful for you to know whether you're tenor, alto, soprano, or bass. So have someone with you that's reliable, that can tell you that you're hitting that high or low note. Also, if you have someone to help with this exercise, they can really be honest with you about whether you're sitting comfortably in this range. Screeching and really forcing yourself to hit high notes is not you being in a comfortable range. It's easy to filter out songs that you're not going to be able to sing once you know your range. Many backing tracks that you find are grouped into voice types, so this is also another reason to find out what your voice type is. You can then quite easily do a Google search to give you a long list of songs that would be perfect for you to sing and add to your repertoire. This doesn't mean you can't sing other songs, and use other songs that are outside of your range to push yourself a little bit further and develop your technique and your voice and expand your range. But when you're singing songs that you want to enjoy and present to other people, you want to choose songs that are comfortably in your range. Also remember, when you're sick, you will need to sing songs that are a little bit lower, and if you're getting over an illness, you need to stay away from songs that are too high or too low. You don't want to be causing any damage to your vocal cords. So again, knowing where your voice sits is a really important part of being a singer. What is a good vocal range? This varies, from person to person, and is limited by physiological facts, your sex, and how much training you've done. Whether you even need a big range will depend on the type of music you want to sing. If you write your own songs, you're always going to write things that are within your range, and so it's probably something you've not considered so far. But if you are singing other people's songs, you will have noticed that there are some that you just feel uncomfortable doing, don't suit you. You might love them, and it might really frustrate you that you can't sing them, but they're just not for you. So how do you know what voice type you are? There are 4 different voice types. There's soprano, alto, a bit lower than that, tenor, and bass. There's lots of subcategories within these categories as well, and in fact some people consider that there are 6 voice types, including one between bass and tenor, the baritone, and one between soprano and alto, the mezzo-soprano. So soprano is the highest voice, and this is usually considered a female voice, although men can hit this range as well. A soprano singer can comfortably reach and hold and sustain long, high notes. It's about being comfortable in this range as opposed to being able to squeak it up there. Typical range for soprano is from B3 to C6. This would be these notes. That is very high. Some singers can sing outside of this as well, but it requires a lot of work, so do not try and do that straight off. There are several subcategories even within this category, and where your voice sits and what it sounds like, how it resonates, all determines what type of category you would be within that range. So coming down, we have the tenor voice, and this is the highest male voice. Singers who have a tenor voice have a tessitura from C3 to C5. And again, that's only 2 octaves, but we're talking about where people are comfortable. Often amazing singers can have 3, 4, even up to 6 octave ranges in their repertoire. So tenors, due to their high voice, are well suited in choirs and operas and can comfortably use a high voice. A natural tenor doesn't have to use the falsetto voice to reach the high notes as well. Can comfortably use his head voice to get there. Often a male tenor has the smallest of ranges of a voice. Typical range is C3 to B4. Just remember that C3 is middle C on the piano. So then we have the alto voice, which can also be the contralto. This is the lowest female voice, and a true alto would have a naturally deep timbre to their voice. So, for example, Cher. An alto has a tessitura from F3 to F5, which would be... The bass voice is the lowest male voice and has the lowest tessitura of all. This voice starts from the second E below C up to... Every singer's voice has a different weight, a different feel, a different texture, which leads to all the different subcategories that you have within each voice type. So the baritone voice sits between the bass and the alto voice and is considered a classical singing voice. It falls between the higher register of the bass and the lower register of the tenor. It's the most common vocal range for a male voice and has a considerably deep, rich timbre to it. The typical range of a baritone singer is G2 to G4. So that's quite a good range. So anatomical factors affect your vocal range and therefore your voice type. Your genetics and your physiology, the size and shape of your vocal cords, your vocal tract and your larynx will all determine your range and your timbre. So once you've determined your vocal range, you can get a vocal range chart to see what voice type you are. These are available online, and again you can refer to our advice page and find a link to a vocal chart here. Go to openmicuk.co.uk/advice/know your voice type. So your physiology, your genetics, your age can all affect your voice type. But don't forget that your training, more importantly, can push you into the different voice types as well. So work hard at expanding your range to make yourself a more versatile singer. Do the work, practice. So knowing your voice type means that it opens up a world of songs that are just for you. So if you want to know what songs suit you best, then you try singing the songs of people who have a voice like you. So make sure you follow all this advice and find out what your voice is. Get some help if you're not sure how to do it. Use some online platforms to record your voice, but find out and then start expanding your range slowly but surely. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for staying with us. My name's been Chantel, and if you want more information, then go to openmicuk.co.uk/advice for all the information that you need to make it in the music industry. If you want to really show us what you got, then enter the competition. We want to hear what you can do. Okay, that's it for today. Bye.